Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is a Hood Rat Strategist radio program called Now the BS and talking about news and issues from a working class perspective. Joined now by Luzon from Revolutionary People's League and inviting him on to talk about a very important event coming up this weekend on Saturday. First of all, maybe just introduce yourself real quick, the folks at home, and maybe just describe real briefly what's the Revolutionary People's League, real quick, and we'll dive a little deeper into that later. But
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Luzon. I'm the chairman of the Revolutionary People's League, as Andy said. We're a group of um, self-proclaimed revolutionary communists of all varying tendencies. What we all rally and organize around is the idea of revolution. We were founded on the idea that there needs to be a space where we can both discuss revolutionary ideas and educate about them and put those ideas into practice. And so far, I'm proud to say that we've, I think, done very well on both ends of that. We've been doing a lot of political education around the city and amongst our membership, and as well as a couple different aid programs, and hopefully more in the future.
glad to hear, and like it's somebody just an observer, y'all been doing some great work. So thanks a lot. So let's talk a little bit. So we said there's an event coming up this Saturday, May Day. Of course, it's not exclusive to Kalamazoo. I was wondering maybe you could just inform, educate listeners a little bit. Maybe you don't know. What is May Day all about? Why are these demonstrations happening all over the world? Maybe just give folks a little bit of historical context about what's going on this weekend, Saturday.
For sure. Yeah. The first thing I would like to say about that is if you're not aware of what May Day is, you have intentionally had your proletarian history hidden from you by the federal government. May Day has been a holiday or international celebration amongst the working class since some in the late 1800s at some point. I forget what year it was, but it was around the founding of the Second International. Groups of communists, then calling themselves social democrats, began this holiday to, give the working class a day to celebrate themselves and our unity. Internationalism was the main idea that this was built around. Not having Labor Day specific to certain nations, but rather a holiday that unites the whole working class, no matter what country you're in. And like I said earlier, it's been hidden from you, and we have Labor Day on a different day because capitalist countries like the United States and Canada, who have mainly switched their days, want to break that unity and that solidarity that we could have with working classes around the world. Even celebrating May Day on May 1st is, if you're living in the U.S., an act of rebellion, I would say, showing that you're not going to let the federal government tell you when you're going to celebrate with the proletariat of the world. You are going to celebrate that on its proper date, and you're going to be out in the streets at the same time as, I promise you, people all across Asia, Africa, Latin America, and even most of Europe still celebrate it on May 1st. But yeah, that is sort of the history around it and where it's coming from. I'll also say the U.S. has pushed so hard against May Day being today that, like, in the 40s, I think they had an alternative they were trying to push called Loyalty Day, where you specifically pledged allegiance to the U.S., but that died around Vietnam. I believe a lot of people were not feeling very loyal to the country during that decade. But yeah, that is International Workers' Day, May 1st.
All right, so now that you have a little bit of context paired up, so as another important organizing axiom is that think globally, act locally, or is that the other way around? both. But I was kind of curious, like, so we're going to talk a little bit more about nuts and bolts of the demonstration and such, but what do you think, just as an organizer, as a resident in Kalamazoo area, what do you think of some of the big, like, motivating working class issues that are causing issues here in Kalamazoo that people should organize around, that you think are kind of motivating not only organizing and protest, but are kind of like long-standing issues that are plaguing working people here in the area?
Absolutely. I think there's, you know, all kinds of reasons that we should all be united celebrating this day, and being out there in the streets. Locally, we've got a variety of different issues caused by our own local capitalist system, including, poverty, huge wage income gaps, income inequality. I believe the number is that 1 in 4, like around 25% of the population of Kalamazoo is like at or below poverty, where we still have hundreds of millions of dollars being put into the police departments and capital development, as they call it in the city budget, and just developing more business and bringing in more revenue to Kalamazoo. And this causes all kinds of issues, as you can see. From one side of town to another, there is a huge gap in quality of life in general, and there's a huge houseless issue, and we should all be uniting and working to solve these issues together. And as well as outside of just Kalamazoo specifically, everything in our current political climate points to us unifying being the answer, the solution to these problems, and not just unifying, you know, as nationally in the United States, but showing solidarity with the working class abroad.
Okay, great. My next question is kind of this is more about like I'm kind of curious about like the genesis of this event getting put together. Now, May Day, it's various organizations in Kalamazoo have done some sort of May Day observance in the last few years. I know Kosecha in several years past. I was kind of curious, and I'm sure people at home are too. Who was involved, or like what orgs were involved in putting together this May Day events, and what were some of the big like kind of motivating ideas behind the orgs putting the event on and how they wanted to put it together?
I think for obvious reasons, I don't want to start shouting names out or anything like
Right.
that.
Of course.
I want to keep organizer anonymity as safe as possible, but I think it's safe to say the RPL is involved in some capacity. The RPL, Food Not Bombs, a couple other orgs that we've invited locally and around the state as well. We we've done events like the protest in Lansing, and we hooked up with a lot of different groups there, and we're hoping to see those comrades again. But yeah, we sort of felt like this was a good opportunity to not only kick the summer off with a bang in terms of having us out on the streets and still continuing the momentum from last summer. Um, it's also, an opportunity to, what was I going to say? um, talk about what he's talking about. Bring up these problems that we just mentioned in the last question, and work together.
Great. Could you tell folks a little bit more? Kind of the what, where, and when. So it's going to be this Saturday, May 1st. Could you give folks a little bit more details about like when and where all this is going down?
Right. Yeah, this is going to be at 1 p.m. This Saturday, May 1st, beginning in South Westnedge Park. We'll be meeting there and rallying for a little bit, gathering the crowd, and then we have a march route planned, and I believe we'll end back at the park again, where we'll give more speeches. We'll have some speeches along the way on the march as well.
Okay, great. No, that's wonderful. Another thing I was thinking about, a lot earlier in the show, we spent most of our first hour talking about police repression. Some of these new, really draconian anti-protest bills. I was kind of curious, like as an org or as just an organizer, kind of maybe your thoughts on the fact that y'all are organizing this event this weekend. We have our own issues with the police here in Kalamazoo repressing protests. What are your thoughts on some of these like really just gnarly reactionary crackdowns on protests going on around the country, and also how that bleeds into your local organizing context between like trying to organize these events and also like the just the specter of like the police and reactions from the police.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think most recently, another reason we wanted to be out doing a march specifically is KDPS released that statement not too long ago about how traffic blockages and marches in general won't be tolerated. And I think for wanting to help their public image lately and doing a lot of stuff to sort of you know work with organizers as they've been pushing for. I'm surprised that they even made that statement, but if you needed to see what their intentions were and how they felt about the people taking power in any capacity, you can look no further than that clip right there. But yeah, personally and as an org, RPL was formed last summer, and one of our 4 founding points of unity was defunding the KDPS. Leading up to the organization being founded, we were just a small group doing readings and a book club, educating each other, sharing our knowledge. And in the midst of that, Kalamazoo had probably its craziest couple months that I've experienced in the city. There was the National Guard in town. There was a curfew across the city, and protesters were tear gassed while they're doing a die-in of all things. And riot cops arrived at a vigil that was being held. So yeah, I think all organizing at this point in the country and in Kalamazoo especially is from the get going to be very antagonistic with the police. They're always going to be, as you say, a specter looming over organizing work. But that gives us even more reason and more motivation to push harder, and it shows that we're hitting them where it hurts, and we're making progress. So we just need to keep it up from last summer, and we'll get what we need, and that's revolution.
Oh yeah, right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I guess my next thing is just like, so people are curious. Maybe do they want to get more involved either with the org or, well, we already did the details of the march, but like, if people want to get more involved with, say, like RPL, what would be the best way to do that?
Right. I would say we are on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us there and get our contact information. We have an email, it's rplkalamazoo@gmail.com. Get a hold of us, and we will work with you in any capacity. As we said in our first ever speech, if you have revolution on your mind, we want to work with you. We want to be in a coalition with you. We want to be a place where anybody who believes in revolution can come and contribute in their own way, whether that be discussion and education or mutual aid work or direct actions like this. We have our what is it, three-word slogan here: educate, aid, defend. We believe if we hit on these 3 points consistently, and we're always moving in step with the mass of the people, that we can succeed here. We can bring about the change that we believe is necessary. But yeah, hit us up on social media, and we'll get to working with you.
Okay, great. And again, to reiterate for folks who are listening, that's 1 p.m. over at South Westnedge Park. It's kind of right by the Vine neighborhood, the whole Vine business district and whatnot. Really encourage everybody who can, if you feel up to it, come down. It'd be a really great way to network with other hood rats and radicals here in town. And also an opportunity to really kind of get more involved and network with other folks. Now we've all been kind of stuck inside for a year, and it's good to, weather's warming up, it's more vaccines going out. It'd be good for us to kind of see each other in person. Zoom is good. It's a good tool, but you get a little tired of it after a while. All right. Okay, Luzon, any other thoughts before we kind of close this out?
No, not really. I'm hoping to see as many of you as possible on May 1st at the park. And again, I want to push, it's time for organization, y'all. We can't keep just mobilizing and ending it there. You got to join an org and put your work into the collective.
All right, great. Okay, everybody, I want to thank y'all for listening. This has been our show, this is Hood Rat Strategist radio program. Again, you can find us on Facebook. You can also find, we have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And until next time, keep on fighting for that revolution solution.